Hi, Ray Novak with Icom America, also Icom's Radio and Action Aviation. Here at the 2025 EAA AirVenture, I'm with Tom Wolf with National STOL.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Wolf. I'm the founder of National STOL.
Tom, what is National STOL?
National STOL is a short takeoff and landing competition series. It goes across the United States, competing with different pilots all over the United States in different classes of aircraft. We broadcast everything we do online. We're trying to be like a next motorsport.
So you say series, so more than one event?
Yes. This year we're doing 12 events from Texas to Virginia all the way up to Washington State.
And not necessarily all in one line either. You're all over the place.
Correct. We rotate around in a pattern where we can move the vehicle around the best we can, but we do go East Coast, West Coast, and back and forth.
Well, a couple of years ago, you guys came to our attention with some of your events, and it's just been fascinating to watch some of them. Can you share with us a couple of your favorite moments?
Sure. So we were in Moses Lake last year. We had about 25 knots of wind on the nose. We had an airplane take off in under 27 feet, which was incredible. It was a Badlands Traveler. It was huge. And then since then, we've seen innovation as we've grown through the last 5 years. More and more people are trying to be competitive, so they go to their favorite suppliers and ask them to help modify their airplanes. We're seeing more and more innovation for suspensions, for brakes, for propellers, for engine components, etc. And so as that comes out in our series, it goes across general aviation as well.
Yeah, one of the interesting things that's caught my attention, because I do a lot of flying commercially, is on the commercial planes, you see the wings extend to improve the airfoil. We've actually seen it occur on some of these small aircraft to be more competitive, haven't we?
We have. We've seen slats, improvement on slats, fixed and not fixed slats. We've seen spoilers as well. We have a competitor on the West Coast that uses a spoiler as a lifting device as well as a drag device, depending on what condition it's in. We also have competitors trying to use VGs to see if they help with their lift. We have people that try to change their airfoil to see if it helps with their lift. So all these different things we're experimenting with to see how it helps STOL and how it helps general aviation in general.
And that's the key thing. I mean, people think about, well, this is a competition. It's just like any other type of transportation competition. The things that are developed to improve in the competition later get added onto aircraft or vehicles as either safety items to reduce the amount of runway they need, or the efficiency of fuel, or different things like that.
We saw the same thing with racing series for automotive racing, where they're putting tire pressure monitors in the vehicles. That became a common standard thing now for every vehicle. And so the same thing with the STOL is we're seeing modifications and improvements for suspension and brakes that we're hoping it will make it to the GA world as things become more affordable and less experimental.
I was out there watching some of the stuff here at the show here, and it almost looks like gymnastics. You don't stick that landing, it doesn't count.
That's true. That's true. And if so we operate on a line. So if you come up with a line, you're good. If you touch the line, you're scratched. So we see a lot of airplanes, come up the line, they're gonna be short, they have high power. Well, it makes them float 20, 30 feet down the runway. And so they lose that distance. So we have other people who have an idea of let's stick the landing, and they come in and they touch down 2 feet after the line and plant it. And so if you bounce, and that's where we're seeing with suspension improvements, if you bounce, now you're going further. Now you're going 10, 15 feet down the line, you can't apply braking. And so that's kind of the stick the landing part of it, is you gotta have the good suspension, have the good wheel components, brakes, tires, that makes you kind of stop when you want to stop.
Now I've seen here, it looked interesting, where the tail draggers, the tail gear touches.
Yep.
And it only counts when the front wheels touch down?
So it depends on the airplane. So tail wheel is fine on a standard configuration or conventional configuration. Tail wheel can drag for the entire length of the runway if you want to. Once your main gear touches down and you're before the line or on the line, it's a scratch. Whereas if you're a nose dragging aircraft, which I fly, you can't touch the nose gear down. That's a bad day. But the main gear is what counts in that situation too.
So the leading edge wheels are what counts.
Yeah.
So you could drag on your tricycle type landing gear, or as you called it, the front trail. You can have the 2 rear ones touch, but
no, they can't touch. The main gear cannot touch before the line.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just wanted to clarify that, because I'm learning as I'm watching this, and it's been very interesting to see the techniques that people have been that people have been deploying when they're doing this.
If I said that the main gear can't touch before line, I would have one competitor out there put 4 wheels on his airplane. You know, so you got a tail wheel and a nose gear and then everything in between, because that's what they would try to do to game the system. You know, they want to be the most competitive they can.
So you'd be like sprint car races where all 4 tires are different sizes, so that one wheel just doesn't touch.
Yep.
Yeah, it was funny. They were talking about one racer that showed up with no left front wheel. That because that's not a wheel that gets any traction.
Sure.
And he had an unfair advantage, so they had to say you must have 4 wheels on your vehicle.
We haven't seen that yet. We have seen people run no tail wheels. We have some people that say, I don't want a tail wheel because it's drag. So they'll put a either like a skid plate back there. And so it'll just be the 2 main gear and no tail wheel. So a skid plate, or we've seen people run rollerblade wheels back there.
Oh, wow.
I think about how small and how little weight a rollerblade wheel is. And so they run through those. And they've told me that those last about 10 to 15 runs before they get destroyed. But then they throw another one on. So, you know, as a experimental aviation, you can do that. So that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, it's all interpretation of the rules, right? Until that's why, hey, watch out, guys. Your rules are probably going to become like that as everybody tries to make adjustments.
Every year we adjust the rules in the off season. We got fortunate last year. We only added about 2 new rules. We're trying to keep it as short as possible, keep it as basic as possible. But of course, you're right. As things change, people might try to do different things. We'll have to keep expanding the rules, make sure that they're safe and they're continue to be safe.
Now, we've talked about some of the other motorsports where there's huge purses, so people build industries around winning.
Yep.
Is that National STOL, or is it more bragging rights?
No, we started that way. We started with a large purse. We came away from that more for bragging rights the last couple of years. We do have prizes every year for championship prizes. We want to go back to the prize, the first prize. We need sponsors to help us with that. And so as sponsors come along and say, I want to sponsor the purse, that's going to help with that. But the pilots are happy to be there. They want to win. They're competitive. Let's be real. They're real competitive. But we do want to bring back the prize purse so they can have a chance to use that money to help improve their airplane and become more competitive.
It is a fascinating sport. The guys and gals that compete in this, what you do is just mind blowing. To sit there and watch you rev up, that tail wheel comes up, and it just gets the blood flowing. You guys have huge crowds that attend these in person, but if you can't make it, how can they watch what you guys are doing?
So all of our broadcasts are brought online, nationalstol.com. We're also on YouTube, National STOL, STOL. We're on Instagram, TikTok, all of those platforms, as well as Facebook, National STOL Series, National STOL. You can watch every single one of our broadcasts from every single one of our events. Since day one is online. And not just the certain classes, we have 7 classes now, but every airplane that's ever competed is online on our events because we record everything. We want anybody to be able to watch that, because if you're at home, whether you're anywhere in the world, you can sit there and watch a National STOL event from your living room.
Again, we were talking about all the ways transportation sports have grown. You guys have got to have a huge pool of sponsors behind you, don't you?
We have a few. Icom Radio is one of them. We're really, really proud of that one. We have quite a good list of sponsors. And I don't want to mention them all because I'll probably forget 1 or 2 by name, but Legend Aircraft, Behringer Brakes, Jerry Clemens and Clemens Insurance Agency. They're definitely our biggest ones we have. We have iFly EFB, Sarasota Avionics, which is right next door to us here, and some other amazing sponsors that really help us and that really support the series from really since day one and help us grow. And, talking about radios is how we use our radios. It's, talking about a whole nother level of infrastructure and logistical issues that we run into. It's how to communicate on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's the airplanes talking to the air boss, or whether it's us talking about security issues, or us talking about parking issues, or talking to the judges on the field, everyone has a radio on.
And it's a full menagerie of different communication devices, because ground-to-air control, that's AM, airband radios. Everything that runs on the ground is either VHF, UHF, commercial frequencies, people that aren't on site, cell phones, and things like that. But your core group, the maniacs that help you put this on, They're volunteers, aren't they?
They're volunteers from all over the United States. We've had volunteers as far as the UK, Germany, New Zealand, Australia come over. They want to help. They want to see this stuff. They want to see it firsthand. Everything you see on our broadcast, from the judges to the announcers to the air bosses, are all volunteer. We have a huge volunteer base behind us. People that love the series, that want to see it grow, and it's incredible. I've never been so moved by having so many people that want to help the series grow.
And it's that passion for aviation that drives it.
Yep. And if you want to get involved in the series, you certainly can come out to any events of ours. Come see us. Say you want to volunteer. It's a weekend essentially. You know, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the event. We try to feed you and entertain you the whole time with great airplanes. But we want passionate people that love aviation, that want to learn more about aviation. Even if you don't know much about general aviation, say you're an airline pilot and you want to learn more, we can help teach you.
Now, one other thing I'd like to bring up, you guys are always on the road, you're always traveling. Things happen.
Yep, they do.
And just recently, after the Moses Lake Air Show, you guys had a tragedy.
Yep.
No loss of life, but you lost pretty much your comms vehicle, your comms trailer, everything that helps you run a show.
Yep. We are a roaming circus. We go across the country with a trailer and a truck. After the last event, Moses Lake, we were on the way to Oshkosh. And on the way here, we were coming through a mountain pass. As we went through the mountain pass, we got passed by a semi-truck. The trailer burbled, and the trailer started to sway. The trailer flipped over 3 times. The truck flipped over 4 times. Fortunately, my driver, that was one of our volunteers, and our amazing friend of mine, was able to climb out the back of the truck without any injuries. He had a small laceration on his eye, and he escaped the fire. So the ensuing fire and the blaze took down the whole trailer. We have literally nothing left. Whereas we go to an event, we put up our tents, we put up our radio gear, our computers, our broadcast equipment, cameras, etc. All of those things are gone. So we're trying to rebuild that now. Unfortunately, it seems like insurance is not going to cover the contents of the vehicle. So we're going to have to rebuild from scratch with the help of our friends and all of our amazing people who've donated already to our GoFundMe, as well as our donations through Venmo, etc.
But if you've ever watched one of their broadcasts online or the various platforms, hey, just a cup of coffee. Donate to the group, help them get back settled right with all the proper equipment to make these events both fun for you to watch, but also safe for all the competitors. Your next event is when?
Our next event is in Rocky Mountain. It's Pinedale, Wyoming, and that's August, I believe, 13th and 14th. I've checked those dates. The middle of August in Pinedale, Wyoming, is Rocky Mountain STOL. It's an amazing event. The challenge of that event is at 7,000 feet density altitude typically. So you're way up you're basically in the mountains, and we're just southeast of Jackson Hole and just southeast of some major mountain ranges, the Wind River mountain ranges there. And so it's a high density altitude event, which brings a lot of challenges. It brings some advantages. People have turbochargers on their engines, but it's also a great event. The community is so supportive of us. The events, if you've never been to that area, Wyoming is gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. It's things of postcards, and the event itself is incredible. We've been there now for going on 3 years, and every year there has been more and more impressive than the last.
Well, Tom, greatly appreciate your time to record this with us. And again, the different things that Icom radios are able to help with. Hope you guys enjoy their shows, and look forward to you watching our podcast in the future.
Thank you.